So I have been getting tons of compliments on my editing technique on Instagram, and although I have a Lightroom preset pack out for sale, I didn't want to make another video where I just shamelessly plug my presets to you guys and tell you to go buy them. So I thought instead, I wanted to do something different. I'm going to show you guys exactly every setting I have used to create my favorite Lightroom preset and how you can make your own presets and leverage them so they work the best for you. But first, roll intro. What's good, everybody? My name is Sydney Baker Green. I'm an international photographer, content creator, and cinematographer, and I'm super excited to bring you guys this Lightroom preset tutorial that I've wanted to make for a long time, but I really wanted to do differently. So here's what's gonna happen. I have put all the information on how I've made this preset down in the description box down below. And the thing about Lightroom presets is that if you go out and buy them, you're not really sure if it's gonna fit your style or if it's just gonna end up as something that's in your preset box that you never use. And I've been there before, especially starting out. I bought some Lightroom presets that didn't work for me and there wasn't really an explanation on how to use them, so I wanted to do that differently. All I ask in return is that if it does work for you and you like the preset, I've set a card up there. Be sure to go buy a preset pack. They're on sale right now and it helps support me and it helps me be able to do free things like this for you guys and also be able to live in this planet. So let's head over to my computer and we will jump right into this tutorial on how I edit a few of my favorite photos. Lego. So here we are, guys, in Lightroom, and I have selected these 5 photos to show you guys exactly how this preset works in every lighting situation except for one that I did not choose because it's not my style, and that is harsh midday sun. So you can see I have a lot of presets over here, but the preset that I'm showing you guys today is called Moody City Fashion. And the thing I love about this preset is it really brings in some blacks into the photo. It brings back a nice black look, but it also keeps this warmth and these cool shadows that I absolutely love. And it keeps those skin tones on point for a nice moody editorial look. Now, here's the thing, and again, all these settings that you're gonna see here are gonna be down in the description down below, so I don't wanna go through this entire thing and explain all of it, but what I'm gonna show you is exactly how this preset works. So you can see here, we have a lot of basic Lightroom corrections on our right side, but what really makes this preset work is going to be the fact that I did some work in camera calibration. If I would have went through and did all those edits without any work in camera calibration, this is what our image would look like, a before and after. If I would have done all that work without any work done in camera calibration, you would get this awfully desaturated image. But what makes this image work is the fact, and a lot of people really don't utilize camera calibration because it seems like a scary process, but all I'm doing is shifting the tones in the favor that I want to. So any pixel that's identified as red is now going to be moved to this orange hue. And similarly, any pixel that is identified in green is going to be moved to this more aqua hue. And any pixel that's identified as blue is going to be moved more towards this, again, aqua hue. Now, what this does, and this is actually the foundation for a teal and orange preset, and I guess you could call it that. It is a very teal and orange preset, but I wanted an editorial take on that, one that was high end and one that really hit those skin tones, and actually that's just a little bit too much. That should be 92. Now that I've explained to you exactly how this preset works, the way I've really designed it is to only have to make simple exposure corrections, and I've also left here in the tone curve a very open opportunity to mess with your highlights, your lights, your darks, and your shadows. But simply for this photo, all I'm gonna do is bump up the saturation, not the saturation, the exposure, just a little bit to give them a nicer and more even skin tone. And that's about where I would leave this photo. Now, we also have this gorgeous, gorgeous sunset photo of the Toronto skyline. And this is where I chose to expose specifically mid-ground so I can make sure that I had as much information as possible. So you can see the only thing I'm really clipping in this image is the sun, and we're only losing a little bit of detail down in the shadows in the buildings, but we're gonna bring that all back and I'm gonna show you how. So you know last time I did this correction, I simply bumped up the exposure. But that does something to the sky that I don't want. So I'm gonna undo that. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a brush. And the first thing I'm gonna do with this brush is I'm going to increase the exposure. So here, I like how that looks right there. I think that's really good. And I think it's still a little too dark. So I'm gonna bump it up just a smidge more. Right about there is where I want it. Now I'm gonna turn on show selected mask only because what I don't wanna do is get it on the sky, but I definitely wanna make sure I'm getting it on all those buildings, especially if you look down there, you can see we have the city called Mississauga out there. I wanna make sure I get that too. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and just make sure it's not too much on the sky. And then I'm gonna take that off and we're gonna see how that looks. And you see right there, now we have a nice evenly balanced photo. I'm gonna bump up the temperature by 6. And then the last thing I wanna do is I wanna make sure that the needle, not the needle, the CN tower actually looks correct in this photo. So I'm simply gonna apply, show the selected mask area only. Let me undo that. I'm gonna turn on auto mask just so I don't make a mess out of this. And I am going to go over the CN tower and apply my exposure correction. And I'm just doing this quickly to give you guys an idea of how I would edit this photo. Apply the exposure correction there, go all the way up to the top of the needle. We're gonna have to clean that up because it's a little bit messy. Just wanna see how it looks first. And then boom. Now I have this set to a small size with a huge feather. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna use the outskirts of that to take care of the leakage that came. Ooh, I don't know if I like that word leakage. To take care of where I had a messy application of that brush tool. So you can see using the brush tool is extremely important if you want to get Lightroom presets to work for you, or also if you simply want to have an even exposure. Our cameras do have a really great dynamic range, almost as great as cinema cameras most time, just as much as film for the most part, but you really have to utilize those tools in post to get those things to work. Now, one other thing that I noticed, and this is just me being picky, is I think my lens might have been dirty, or I have sensor spots, but if you ever have anything like this that's distracting, just go ahead and use the healing brush, apply over the selected area. And then last thing I would do is simply crop for Instagram, and I know that that is going to be, oop, that's not the crop button. Last thing I'm gonna do is crop for Instagram, and that's gonna be a 4x5 crop, and I probably start about right there. So what you can do differently than me is not be so sloppy. I actually posted this photo on Instagram today, so you can see exactly how meticulous I was. So the next photo we have over here was one of the photos I got on the helicopter ride in Toronto, and I simply clicked the preset. Now, because this was shot at golden hour and we have the sun coming in on him, the sun has a really orange hue, so in order to get those nice blacks that I love and that cool look in the shadows, I'm simply gonna bring the temperature down. And you can see right there how that is a nice one-click edit. For some people, those highlights may be a little too strong. You have two options. You can undo the clarity, which is just set it to 0 from 14, which is an option, or you could bring down the actual highlights if you wanted to, if that's more your style. The only other thing you need to do outside of that is simply add an Instagram crop and you are good to go. Now this photo, I want to be a little bit more meticulous on because I have my backpack here, which I absolutely love, but I know that this preset sometimes can make areas darker than I want it to be, especially shooting at blue hour. Now the cool thing about this is we already have these amazingly blue tones, but one of the things I like about this bag too is that I can use it as a really good indication of how on my color temperature is, because when it's right, we will have the tags right here start to appear that cream color that they actually are. Right there, that's already a good edit. I know because I want to put this on Instagram, of course, I'm gonna apply the Instagram crop so I can see what exactly I'm gonna be working with. And honestly, I wouldn't do anything else to this photo except for maybe one thing, which is just maybe bump up the shadows just a smidge. So you can see exactly how, you know, if you have a style like mine where you like that moody editorial look that has some nice blacks in there, then this is really a good one-click preset if you nail your lighting conditions right. Now, another thing, because this lens, I was shooting with a 35mm at 1.4, and here it has a really big vignette, you can apply lens correction, but you're really gonna get rid of that nice blue tone in the sky that makes it actually look like blue hour. You do have an option to apply the vignette as you want it based on the correction, but I tend to leave it off in this case just because I like the way the photo looks. So now we've gone through all of these and you can see how when you edit this way, actually let me go back here because I did make a correction that I needed to undo. That's just a little too, there we go. I need that right about there. And I might add a little bit of a dehaze in here. I think I added some dehaze in here last time. Cool. So now you see we have this nice cohesive look throughout our entire collection of photos here. Last photo we're gonna go through and edit real quick is going to be this image. So I'm simply gonna add the preset. You can see right here that it's already done a little toll on her face and that her hand is extremely blue. That's just because the color temperature is off. So I am going to move the color temperature until it's right where I want it to be. And that's right about there. It gets rid of that harsh tone in her eyes. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to undo the clarity because I want her skin to be nice and even. You see what that did? You see the difference between that right there? Skin just gets a little softer, which is what I want it for a portrait. Now I'm also gonna bring the exposure down just a smidge. Now she's a little orange. I don't want her that orange, so I'm gonna bring down the orange saturation a smidge as well. Now she actually looks a little sick. Bring that back up a smidge. And I might need to simply cool down the image a bit. You see it's just fine tuning that workflow so that it works for you. And then because I feel like this is just a little too warm, I'm gonna go ahead, apply a cool brush to this area right here, just to give me less warmth in an area where I don't want it. There we go. So I kind of like where that's going. This was really sloppy and I think I need to be a little bit more meticulous around here and around here and around here and over in here. Now I can probably comfortably increase the warmth just a little bit and still bring it down here as well and just make sure I'm really hitting that spot in there. And so this is a before image, this is an after edit. This is not a photo I would really use this preset on. I'd actually probably use more of the clarity preset that I have in here, or the crystal clear preset, my bad. And I would simply increase until it's warm because I really like bright and airy photos when they're portraits like this that are backlit. That is probably the preset from the preset pack that I would use if I'm being honest, but I just want to show you guys exactly how that preset would react on a backlit photo. Or a golden hour photo, I should say. So I hope this tutorial was actually short enough for you guys to really take in everything. I want to show you guys exactly how this preset works. If you guys like this preset pack, again, you guys saw some of the other presets. I gave you a sneak peek of my crystal clear preset that's in the pack. But if you liked it, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Go buy yourself a copy of my preset pack. It's also in the description down below. And also, I would love it if you guys went and subscribed to my channel. It means the world to me. Trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Don't know if it'll happen, but hopefully it will. We are almost monetized, so that's great. But remember, folks, every day, airplanes take off against the wind. Live, love, laugh, stay inspired, and as always, stay fabulous. I'm Sydney. Peace out.